Well, welcome everybody. So welcome Christine for joining me today. I appreciate everybody else is busy with life and different things. So as requested, I'm recording our meeting to talk about the hub, the Infinity Health Hub. And it's really, I wanted to today just give everybody an idea of what it's actually about, because quite often I know what I'm talking about, but we don't necessarily always communicate exactly what it's about. So it's just putting it there in terms of what it's for. So the mission, the vision, the objective, the passion, everything behind the Infinity Health Hub is to empower people in their health and who wish to be empowered in their health. I think that's the big difference, is a lot of people don't necessarily want to make changes, and this isn't going to be the platform for that. This is about people that want change, and it could be in their health, it can be in their relationships, it can be in work, because ultimately everything about all those aspects of us as a whole being, and if one aspect isn't working, then our body won't be happy. There'll be a discoherence, and it's really coming from a different angle. So it's like mind, body, heart, and soul. So people can drop into this as and where they're ready in their time. So if somebody is much more wants to know about exercise and nutrition, then they come into there where they feel comfortable. But what I actually see this is actually a web that people can, through curiosity, explore all avenues of aspects of how people come from their health and their experiences. So all the way from a science to soul perspective. And the more I've done with the hub, the more I've understood that actually we're coming from a space to bring people to their souls, ultimately. And they're coming from that from a health perspective. They're coming at it from I'm not happy. My life isn't serving me joy. Everyone's starting to seek those questions, which we've seen with COVID really kicked off as like, why am I doing this? It's like we all fell off this conveyor belt. Some are like instinctively must get back on it because that's their only known control and feel comfortable in that. Whereas others are seeking something different. There's an inner space that needs sort of healing. So this is what the Infinity Health Hub is about. But then even behind that, even more, is the message is that actually we're here to heal our planet. This was a very strong message that came through to me, is that we're here to raise the vibration, the frequency of our earth through our own healing. So a lot of us won't necessarily just go out to try and heal the planet. There's a lot of people out there that are doing that, but actually it's going to be healing the planet through us doing our own healing. When we start to shift our old shite, our old patterns, our old belief systems, fear, ultimately, we are actually starting to heal our planet. And when people become aware, so I'm just going to, hope that's not too loud. When people, I'll let that pass. Helicopter. It's gone. So it's really about when people are aware of that the more toxic our planet is, the more toxic and ill we become. And we are on this real imperative tilt. We are literally at this Libra point of like which way we're going to go with our planet, with our health, with our own empowerment, and we are ultimately needing to claim back our power, and that can come through our health. But it's also about healing our planet now. And we haven't got very long, and I know it sounds very fear-based, but I got very much 15 years to start making a change for this planet. And so this is what the Health Hub is about. It's about our health, but it's also about our planet. And people will come to heal the planet through healing themselves. That's ultimately how I see the hub's about. And they do that through having awareness, through all these different feed of information that's coming through from myself, from you, Christine, from whoever that wants to come part of this, to share what they do. And it's all tagged appropriately. So when it's done in an article, It can be on a Zoom call like this. It could be on a workshop, for instance, or it can be saved videos. It can be courses. It could be multiple and voice podcasts. You know, there'd be multiple ways that the information can be shared, subject to whoever or however you're comfortable with doing that. So if someone prefers to write, there's that option. If someone just likes to get on the video and starts talking, it's whatever feels like really easy and a flow to it, because very clearly the only exchange, the currency with this hub is joy. So it's not coming at it from a perspective that I have to do this, have to do that. The energy and the currency is purely joy. So if someone isn't getting the joy from it, then it's not going to happen. And it has to, it's a serving joy kind of platform. So people need, it's about coming to really what feels right for you, and in whichever way that is. And how I see it is that as you share your information on the hub, it's then the exchanges, then you have this platform of people to see what you're doing, to see you, to contact you, to come into your being of work. So for you, Christine, it's about promoting your book and doing one-to-one clients, if that's what you wanted to do, or however it would work for you. And it's again, it's the potential of people want to do courses. It can be put onto the hub, because people can, they'll log in and then they have access to all this information, and they can set favorites so they can come back to what they like, or they buy a course, they can access those courses. And that, you know, and that's lifetime. So they can actually be a free subscriber and they get access to a certain amount of information. And they can still go off and buy courses, and they can keep that saved within their profile. Or they'll actually be a full-on subscriber where they get much more information. So, and the idea of the information of how it flows is to be linked into what's happening currently. So I really would like to link it to the structure and the flow of the seasons, the months. So bringing in the Chinese aspect of the 5 elements. So, you know, we're in summer now, so we're really in heart energy. We're in the small intestines. So we're talking about the discernment of what is serving our heart, and what do we take, what do we let go. It's all this, and that can explode into someone can come in, someone can talk about the heart, and could be exercise to help support that. It could be emotional aspects. It could be therapy. It could be just expanded, or even nutrition to help support that. What's growing out in nature right now that will support you in your physical, in your health. So it's literally having a little structure, but then it can expand into so much to wherever the person go, oh, yeah, that resonates with me. I'm going to write about this. And then it just brings that in, as well as, you know, key topics like menopause and mental health and sexual health, you know, it's lots of, you know, there'll be lots of key categories, but many things will just overrode each other, basically. So yeah, I think that's the mission. That's how I feel it's going to work. And a lot of how my ideal clients will actually be corporate. So I want to get seen as a wellness solution for businesses and small businesses, so I can get more people on it quicker. Ultimately, that's my plan. And it's there, it's ready, and it's just a matter of starting to bring in a little bit of content, start giving it some depth, giving it some roots. And equally in that time, I'm looking to bring in clients and start showing it. So I think that the two will morph together.
All right.
I feel because I'm a little bit like, well, do I need the content? Do I need the people? And it's kind of, I think they're just going to
merge and flow.
Is there going to, have you thought about a structure for when people come in as new clients or as new corporate clients, a structure to enable them to sort of navigate? Because if somebody's come and they're not well and they really don't know where to begin, how are you going to address that?
So each article, each video, everything that gets uploaded onto the hub will have a tagging system. So for instance, if somebody wrote in menopause, up will pop whatever content that has been tagged with menopause in it, or perimenopause. And so you would have someone that's talked about nutrition, that may be talking about, for instance, liver is really key. So anything that's linked up with liver health that's related to hot flushes and mood swings and, all these sort of symptoms will come up for them in a search function. And then they can favorite those articles. And then each month, what I will do is I would send an email out to say, this is what's happening in the forward month. So they've got an idea of, okay, what articles, what we're talking about, who's coming on. So if there's a live event, we can say, this person's coming into here to talk about this. And it's just, and that will happen each month as a newsletter to sort of let them know what's coming forward.
Okay, so you're talking a little bit like a shop front, or a shop then, where you go in and you browse and you choose the things that are pertinent to what you want.
Yes.
That sort of, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Definitely. And I'm thinking it's also got the capacity to put a questionnaire, kind of like survey underneath it. So I haven't upgraded to get that on there as yet, but that might be something I will add in later on, that will pop up like a question to sort of what's their key topics that they're interested in. So I can start seeing much more detail, but what people are looking for, and also what do they need. And we can start really zoning in on what's coming through for people. So
I was thinking, if somebody, for example, was suffering with a lot of pain, if you knew that, then you might be able to target certain things which they might not necessarily realise would be pertinent to them.
Definitely. So I think there'd be something like musculoskeletal pain or lower back pain. Yeah. Or, so there'll be symptoms linked in. So there's a general tagging system. So it's like mind and body, heart and soul, which sometimes it can be both, depending on what the type of the article is. And then it will be central general tags of, okay, this is visceral, organ, liver health, kidney health, bladder health. And then it will list like a symptom aspect of what that would relate to. And then sometimes there'll just be like a related article. So it might be the emotions that might be coming up, or just generally other things that could relate to what we've talked about with the topic, as well as the suggested therapies. And so, if it's a key person that's like yourself that's writing, we put in, it's nutrition and it's linked to you. So you're already on the hub. So we will start putting articles and it links to you as an author. So somebody looks into you and looks at your whole profile, who you are, your social contacts, social media, they can click into you and see your articles. So if there's a person that's particularly resonating with someone, they can see.
Yeah. Because
not everyone's going to resonate with everybody. This is the key of actually is like, okay, there's me and I'm holding this space, but not everybody wants to listen to me waffle on. I might just not have that resonance that somebody clicks to, but there may be somebody else that goes, yeah, I've connected with that person. So that is trying to have that spectrum for people to access, really.
No, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah. So, and I guess for going forwards, really, I think it's just a matter of, okay, so probably a question would be is like, what's the cost involved in stuff? So there's no cost involved with regards to being an author on the hub. at all. So I see the exchange. My finances come from the subscribers, so I don't want anything from people that are coming on to the platform. I actually see the exchange there is that I give them a space to promote what you do in the exchange of some of your knowledge, a little bit of a show of who you are and what you do. And it doesn't have to be absolutely everything, but it's sort of like a marketing front, a shop front, like you just said.
Yeah.
And then, but if somebody wants to do something much more detailed, like lots of yoga classes or sound baths or conscious breathing, or wants to do much more of a detailed workshop that they'd like some form of financial return from that is something that can be offered to people even that are subscribing, or to pay a little bit towards it. Or it could be just a matter of promotion of someone's doing this, directing it to that person. So if they're doing a retreat or whatever, it's that marketing as well.
Yeah, I think because certainly in my area, I've been looking at what's available, and I think the idea of this is fantastic because it's so difficult to trawl through things and to find out what's there on your own. And it's quite dispiriting sometimes to try and wade your way through, pages and pages of Facebook or, websites or whatever to try and find. So I think the idea of bringing this together make it so much easier for people who are looking for support to actually look in and think, oh wow, there's this person, and they don't have to expend all that energy, especially if they're struggling.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing. It's, if you're really struggling, you're probably in a state of hopelessness. Yeah. Which is in that free, and from neurologically, that's freeze. That's not even fight flight. You're in freeze mode, and it's breaking. We were talking about earlier before we recorded about these blocks that people are shifting, and I think everyone has been neurologically just absolutely screwed over the last few years, where they're probably in that kind of, I don't like this, but I'm kind of stuck. And it's like how you can shift people through that. And I think if you can make that easier, it's like little steps and a bridge to something. I mean, I find that hard enough sometimes when you think you just got to suddenly change your diet all of a sudden, and it just feels so overwhelming, you don't do it. So if you bring in little steps each time, it just will help. But it's not a hub to diagnose. It's not there to tell people what to do. It's purely a platform to say, this has worked for me. And
this is what's available.
Yes. Yeah. And they make their own choice. It's not there, oh, you've got this happening, let's diagnose it, could be a kidney problem. It's like, no, this is purely about the awareness creates conscious choices. So here's the information, take from it from what you need. And
this is a huge shift for a lot of people because we've all been told what to do for such a long time. Yes. So I can see that it's a step forward to help people, but I think it's going to be a difficult one for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was just talking about this earlier because the course that I wanted to launch, and I know it's right, and I know this is right, but I think there's sometimes it's easier for people to give the power away, to literally just go, haven't got much choice. It's even though that feels like the easier option, that's obviously isn't. Later, I always think there's a hard and easy choice, and if you take the easy route all the time, you'll end up getting a bit stuck. And I think there's some people that are just probably given up. There may be people that actually want change, and it's those people that we're calling for, that want to shift but don't know how.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people out there in the position where they no longer have confidence in the system that they've been using all their lives, but to them stepping outside of that feels like stepping off the edge of a cliff because they've got no idea where to go or what's out there.
Yeah, no, completely. And I see this as a bridge. I see the work that I do, everything is about, we've had to do a lot of this trusting work and going for, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm trusting it. But then we can look back and go, a bit like you say, Hansel and Gretel trail. We're leaving a path for people to choose if they want to, and actually they see that, okay, it's a trodden path. I'll try that. I'll go for that. And
I think that's the important thing for the hub to offer, is that, you know, we're taking a step away from what we know, but there is this what do you call it? Well, a hub, but you know, this is this wealth of knowledge with people behind it.
yes, the support.
So they're not stepping out on their own. There is, you know, that something for them to grasp hold of, something for them to investigate and to look at.
Definitely. And I always show my age a little bit with this, but I always visualize this, you know, Indiana Jones when he's just about ready to step over the cabin, isn't he? And, you know, and he just has to trust that it's there. And then he did it. And then it's literally, then all he did is then scatter the dust over so everyone could see the steps to walk over. And like, that is what I see what we're doing. I mean, he could have thrown the dirt before he did that, but it wouldn't have been a great story. But that's what I'm feeling, is that actually we're walking the paths for other people to be able to feel safe to do that, to know that there's an alternative. Yeah. So it's really, I guess, if I know it's resonating with you because you're on there already, but for others that feel like this is something they want to do, they've got messages they want to get across, and they just light up when it comes to empowering other people in their health, then, you know, the hub most likely will be something for them. And it can be, if it's something that people want to do regularly. So what I want is like a little team, but it's not set in stone, but it's people that can come up with like sort of regular material would be good, but not to a stress of it. Because I think as soon as you worry about that, you suddenly think, God, am I going to come up with anything? When actually most of the time it just comes naturally when you relax and you think, oh yeah. And it doesn't have to be massive. Or there might be people that just want to dip in and out occasionally, and then that's fine. But I wouldn't necessarily set them up as authors on that. They're more about ones that they're on a more regular basis. But I'm happy to do like interviews with people that want to come on and talk about what they do, but, you know, don't want to get too involved with writing sort of regular stuff or doing regular talks. Does that make sense? So
no, it makes sense. I think there is a great pressure on people today, and if they are already, you know, seeing clients and they've got other commitments like family and so on, I think it is difficult for people to commit time. I'm lucky that my family are grown up and I don't have as many commitments as I used to. So I think having a flexible approach to that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I think some people are going to find it difficult to make a commitment to do X amount.
Yeah, and the only commitment I want with this is joy and empowerment. That's the only currency that I want with this hub. And so if anyone's coming from it because they suddenly think they should be doing or don't want to, or feeling stressed about it, it's just not going to be the right vibe. So and that just has this really openness with this hub. Really, it's really there, and I trust that there may be a flow of different people coming through and that, but yeah, it's but people that want to really see this as something that they want to embed in to kind of really grow and be part of, then welcome that as well. So, but no one's tied into anything. That's the thing.
No, I think that's important for the growth of the hub.
Yeah,
I think if as I said, if it involves too much of a commitment, I think a lot of people will have a problem.
Yeah.
But having that flexibility, certainly, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, because you might find 1 month you say something, and the next month it's not. It's like, you know, a couple of months later, it's really is going to be quite that. I'd like that sort of easy, and I know people have plenty to do, and it doesn't have to be an excessive article. It could be half an hour Zoom call. They're really simple. Sit and chat. What's happening? What's going on energetically? What's, you know, what's going on for them, because that's again also about messages. It's like, I'm going through this shite and this is how I managed to get through it. And so it's a lot about inspirational stories as well that I want to bring in. So
yeah, I think that's important too.
Yeah, completely.
People love hearing about other people's journeys, and when they see that other people have been there and have made progress and have improved their lives, they're far more likely to want to take that path and look for their own solutions, and it gives them hope, as you said.
Give they hopes there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and with that, it's more than the placebo effect. It's huge, isn't it? Once you suddenly got hope and belief that I can do something about that, that's even you're on it.
Well,
that's ultimately what this platform.
You've opened the door, haven't you?
Yeah, this platform is just giving people hope, and with that, you change the neural system into more of the parasympathetic. You're not in that fight flight. You're starting to come out of those blocks. Either mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You're starting to decide, I'm changing, I'm navigating. So yeah.
Cool. It sounds brilliant.
Thank you. It's only been a couple of years, but I'm here. So it's literally, I feel like it's there, it's ready. Just start to allow things to grow from it, really, without too much expectation. I think that's the real big key, is actually just let it grow in a playful, joyful way and see what happens, and get my perfectionism out the park. just stay in there and just enjoy it. So yeah, so this, I guess this call is, you're with me already, Christine, because you're
I am, yeah.
Thank you, darling. But it's cool, this is really to sort of, if this is resonating and you want to start on like a conversation with me and how we want to get you started, and we'll just start taking it a little step by step, start introducing articles and however it works, really.
That sounds great.
Perfect. Well, if I was going to say, if anyone's got any questions, come back to me on Remedial Therapy Clinic. So it's remedialtc@gmail.com, or call me 07787 376 043. And yeah, or just message me on this group. We can, start that call. So I'm going to hit pause now. But thank you. If you've got this far, thank you for listening, and hopefully see you soon.